Right now, I am going to teach you guys how to make brownies, which is the quintessential mopey food. When you wallow, you need chocolate. And because of that, here are some brownies. Now, when you're making brownies from scratch and not from a box, it's a little bit more complicated, but it's totally worth it. We're gonna make these brownies in 3 separate sections. The first section is the dry ingredients, where you're gonna want a kind of small bowl, and in it, you are going to put 1 cup and 1/4 cup of flour, just like that. The next thing you are going to do is take some salt, and you are going to put in 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Yeah, just like that. Now when you're baking, it's actually important to make all of your ingredients measure out correctly, unlike cooking, because it will affect the science of the dish. If you add a little bit more flour, it will make cakier brownies instead of fudgy brownies. With just this 1 1/4 cups, it's going to be kind of fudgy. The next thing we're going to do is add 1 teaspoon of baking powder. This is what is going to make your brownies rise. Okay, this is our dry ingredient bowl. Now we are going to move on to our next section, which is bittersweet chocolate, 8 ounces, and 1 cup of butter. Now first we are going to chop up the chocolate. Now what we are going to do is take our chocolate chunks and put them into a heat-proof bowl. Having the bowl be heat-proof is really important because we are about to put it on a pan of simmering water. So once we have all our chocolate in here, we are going to add our cup of butter. You actually might want to cut this stick of butter into slightly smaller pieces. It should look as so. Okay, so now that we have our chocolate butter bowl, we are going to put it in a pan that has been filled with about 1 inch of simmering water. Right inside like that. Now by doing this, we're actually making our own broiler, and we are going to stir the chocolate and the butter around until they are melted. Now at about this time, you're also going to want to remember to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. I am bringing you guys over here right now so you can see the water simmering underneath, which is melting the butter and the chocolate. And as soon as that last little chunk of butter melts, what we are going to do is take this off the heat. We're going to make the third part of this dish, which is 2 cups of sugar. That's a lot of sugar. Then we're going to follow that up with 2 teaspoons of vanilla. The thing we are going to put in there are 4 eggs. 1 goes crack. Don't forget, while you're doing this, you're going to want to check in on your chocolate butter mixture, because nobody wants hard, disgusting chocolate brownies. There we go. We got our 4 eggs in there. If you get any yolk on your hands, be sure to wash them. And then what you're going to do with this is just whisk everything up together. There you go. You see how nice and smooth everything is in here now? So we now have our 3 separate bowls of ingredients all mixed up, and we are going to take this egg and sugar and vanilla bowl and make that our main mixing pot, which is also why it's the largest. So the first thing we're going to do is slowly add some of our chocolate and butter mixture. Watch out because it's a little hot, and we are going to just whisk that straight in, a little bit at a time. You don't want to pour too much of the hot chocolate into the egg mixture, otherwise it will cook your eggs and that will be really disgusting. Now this mixture should be feeling really heavy as you're beating it, so just use your tough arm muscles to get in there. Okay, at this stage, you are now looking at something that looks pretty much like brownies, but we still have to put in all of our dry ingredients, and we're going to add this a little bit at a time as well. We don't want to oversaturate with flour right in the beginning. This looks like brownies. You're going to take your 9x9 brownie pan, and you are going to either share a little bit of butter down on that guy, or take some Pam and just make sure you coat the center and the sides really well. Nobody likes sticky brownies. Then you are going to take this beautiful brownie batter, get everything out of your whisk. You don't want to lose anything. And you are going to pour it straight in. Let's get this piggy out so we don't lose any of our yummy batter. Now once everything is in the pan, you are going to bake it at 2 different times depending if you want fudgy or cakey brownies. Before I talked about how more flour makes the brownies a little bit cakier, and so does baking them for longer. So if you want your brownies to be really fudgy, I would recommend baking them at 350 degrees for 35 minutes or until the top of the brownies get shiny and it starts to slowly pull away from the sides of the pan. If you like cakey brownies, what you want to do is leave it in for an extra 10 to 15 minutes or until you put a toothpick in and it comes out clean. I'm going to pop these guys in the oven and we'll check back in 35. Our ice cream is currently in the churner, so things are a little loud, but let's take a look at our brownies. See how the top has become shiny and the sides are pulling away? If you like your brownies nice and fudgy, these guys are all done. Yeah, these look good.